Most people would probably start a video like this by saying that you should comment and subscribe and like and all that, or even just saying their channel name that you already read whenever opening the video, or telling you about what the video is, even though you read the title. But I do feel like I should explain my reasoning for making this video, because I don't do it later. I don't hate UrbanSPOOK, I don't hate the painter, I don't hate Urban Slug, the creator of it. I just generally think that people do ignore the parts of the series that work and separating it from the parts that don't. And I just wanted to make sure people knew that that's what this is about, and not just me blindly hating a thing that they think I never actually sat through and paid attention to. I did, I watched it, I liked some of it, I didn't like other parts of it, and that's just where I'm coming from with this. So, the painter is very good at having a very split audience. Half of the people I hear who've seen it either love it and think it's the greatest thing ever made, and then the other half of people are like, it's the worst thing ever, it's just an ultimately pointless description of terrible shit that happened to fake people. And I just kind of feel like I'm in the middle. Like, there's good parts of it. The concept of it is a great idea. You know, a killer painting their victims and then hiding it, or not even hiding it, but just kind of showing that, like, how they see what they do. And then the art itself is great. It just feels like the execution of the series was just horrible. Very much like the deaths that happen in the series are just horrible. For this, I went to the UrbanSPOOK Reddit, which showed me a fairly consistent sentiment between at least like 3 people, that the violence in the series is required because it's like classified under the umbrella of splatterpunk or just extreme horror, which almost requires the creator to basically just have horrible shit happening because fuck you, I can. Which I don't mind the idea of that, but I feel like the creator themselves should probably put a very thick line in the sand for what they should like talk about. Like the series UrbanSPOOK frequently includes, and I feel like that can work in a series like this, as long as it's treated with the seriousness required to make that theme not feel like you're just using it as a joke or a like one-off bit that can just do more harm to people than it does good. And honestly, the first thing that probably comes to people's mind is the Corey bit, but I don't know, I didn't care about the Corey bit because that's all it kind of felt like. One of those shitty out-of-touch bits and a subpar comedy special. And that's honestly my main issue with the series, is that it feels like it's just trying to be a fucked up stand-up routine. Like, here's a story that sets up the punchline, and then boo, a scary image. Like, I swear, I feel like I was supposed to laugh at more parts of this series than I was supposed to get scared. And that's not like me trying to sound like some badass or whatever, it's just the vibe of the entire thing doesn't feel like it's meant to be taken seriously. It feels like you're one, like, kind of fucked up friend just like picking up a squirrel and saying, isn't this kind of spooky, and then ooh, dead squirrel. But it's just like, I don't know, it feels like you're the one on the other side of like a campfire just watching this happen. It's like, it's kind of funny. And it's just like, it's meant to try to be kind of spooky and scary and whatever, and it's just, you're struggling not to laugh the entire time. I don't know. I think it just probably is just hard for me to take 15 walls of text seriously, which I guess kind of leads into what I think makes the series work very well. The sound design for UrbanSPOOK is fantastic. Like, the music sets an eerie tone that builds up throughout like every episode, and as the series goes on, the music feels like it gets more violent and aggressive, and it feels like just something that would be perfect in a story like this if it wasn't told the way it is. Like, I feel like the music works better for a slow build up, and then like at the end of the episode feels like it would be more like the climax of the thing, rather than hitting 3 different plot points that each have their own build up and then climax at the end. I gotta stop saying climax. But if the series were to be slower, I feel like the music would work way better in it. But there's one segment that every time I think about this series, I go back to thinking about, and it's the phone call. The phone call in episode 7 is so good that it genuinely kept me up the night after I saw it, which I don't think I could convey the actual quality of this phone call any better than just playing it out. That audio, I feel, makes it worth watching the entire rest of the series, just to have the context of why this phone call should feel so important. And then the story around it makes it waver and, like, doesn't make it worse, but just the episode it's in, it's a good thing that the episode ended on the phone call, is all I'm really gonna say about it. But I think that with, me saying my praises and distaste in the series, after talking about all the good and the bad of the painter, this is what I feel like I kind of got from the entire thing. And that's that the painter should have been written with a more meaningful narrative. So that instead of it just being, or feeling like that it's just disturbing, that there's character motivations to things. Like, I feel like no matter how fucked up you make your antagonist, you need to make it to where you can kind of see where they're coming from. Like, a big example frequently used for this sort of thing is Freddy Krueger. He saw himself as being wrongfully killed for doing what he thought was no big deal, and then he came back at a later date as a dream demon and then killed the kids of the people he saw that wronged him. So if you look at it from that lens, Nightmare on Elm Street is the revenge of a man who saw what he did as nothing wrong. If the painter went along the lines of like a disgraced artist who thought that they were the greatest of all time and they wanted people to pay attention to them, and if they just did something insane, they would get that attention. That feels more like a character than just the insane person who paints the people they kill. But I don't know how long that Slug had the series planned out, but I hope for whatever they do next, they do a bit more planning beforehand. But, you know, given that it's been a year since the last episode, I am excited for episode 9 and 10 of The Painter. And hopefully we can get more stuff like the phone call, or even the introduction to the series, which worked like a charm on me at least. I don't know. I'm kind of just running out of things to say. The series has good, the series has bad. I don't think that it's the best thing ever, but it could have been so much worse. And that's just kind of my thoughts on the entire thing summed up in 5 seconds. I don't know what else to say other than that I'm going to link UrbanSPOOK in the description. Probably their other social medias down there as well. My socials are in the description. And just, I don't know, have a good day. Or don't. I can't tell you how to feel. Bye.